Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about the PHP and MySQL. With this tutorial, I'm going to focus into more practical things, more practical examples. That means not only the theoretical things. And if you are searching more practical example, this is the tutorial for you. Okay, and about the PHP and MySQL, that means we can connect multiple database with the PHP like MongoDB, MSSQL, MySQL, Oracle. Likewise, there's so many databases we can connect with the PHP. Without any issue, we can connect databases with the PHP. Before continuing, we need to have a good idea about the what is database and why we need a database within the application system. We need to understand those things before we continue. I will give you a brief introduction about this, what is database and why we need a database, these things. Okay, what is database? Okay, let's say like this. Before inventing the computer systems, we use paper documents, that mean physical papers to keep our information. Like let's say if we need to if we consider about the accounting, we use logbooks and accounting books, physical books and papers to keep our information, keep our data. Once we invent the computer system, we change those things to e-documents, that mean electronically saved document, soft document. Likewise, the same thing happened before, that means before inventing the computers, we use paper documents, hard documents to keep our information. Right now we use electronic data, that means let's say in your personal computer you have when you are saving some document, you have a folder structure. You can create folder structure, you can create a folder, then inside of that folder you can create your document. Likewise, we can the same thing, same theory apply into database as well. Let's say when we consider the database, we can create the database. First, we can create the database. Inside of the database, we can have table structure. We can create the tables. Within the table, inside of the table, we have columns. Within the table, we have columns, and within the table, we have data rows. This column represent the key of the data key. Like when we consider the array, we have a key and value. Likewise, we have within the table, we can say that table columns as a key and row information as a values. That means first row, first column has can be have multiple values, multiple rows. Likewise, we can keep the information within the database electronically. We can keep those information, and also we can save this information within the computer system, and we can access those information if we want. And yeah, we use to manage these databases, we use database management systems, and also we use tools like PHP MyAdmin tools to view this information databases. I will explain these things with the more with the practical example, practical thing. Let's jump into practical examples. Okay, before move forward, I need to explain you. This tutorial actually beginner tutorial. That means as a beginner, you need to know about these basics. That means what is database, why need database, how we use database within our PHP application. These are really basic things, but you need to understand as a beginner. Anyway. Uh, Now you know what is database. That means we explained those things before, and here I'm going to explain you more. I will try to explain more about what is a database with the practical things. I think you have already installed your local, you have set up your local development environment. If not, please go with my video. I check my description section. I have put the link there, and you can find my how to set up your local development environment video. Please go through with that, and please set up your local development environment. If you're not set you can continue, still you can continue with this tutorial. I will briefly explain how to set up your local development environment. You can get more detail with my other video, but here I'm briefly tell you. Please go to install some using some package installer like WAMP or XWAMP. You can install a PHP MySQL and Apache. Please use package installer. Using package installer, you can set up your this. You can install those three major softwares. I have already installed those things within my local development environment. You can see this is WAMP package installer I already installed. You can see it's running Apache MySQL. Here I want to show you if we install um, uh, uh, a WAMP, if we install this package installer, you can navigate to your local host. Let's say like this local host. Um, Yeah, once you navigate to localhost, you can see this index page. That means it is XFAM index page. Once you type the localhost, it goes to your local root directory. This is the directory. That means within the XFAM, here this is the I have installed within the C drive. You can see XFAM folder, and inside of here we have htdoc folder. This is the htdoc folder. Within inside of this htdoc folder, we have our websites, our all the um, uh, this is the our web root. That means once you enter the localhost, it goes to this folder. If you need to host your website within your local host, you need to copy that folder, your website into this folder. Then it will configure your local website. Okay, right. Here I need to explain about the databases. Let's go to PHPMyAdmin. You can navigate PHPMyAdmin with this XWAM package. It will automatically install this PHPMyAdmin as well. Here you can see it already installed. Let's go to the databases. Here I have, let's go with this. Okay, here I have these databases. You can see these are my databases. Let's navigate to factoring Billy, my example database. Here with this factoring Billy database, you can see I have creditors, debitors, debitor limits. Those are tables. Here I have table structure. And within these tables, we can see we have table columns and values. Values mean rows, table columns and rows. This is a relational database. MySQL means relational database. Horizontally, we can see the data relations. Likewise, here you can see this row ID 3 is all the data related to this ID 3. Likewise, here we can see horizontally it relations related. And here let's navigate to our physical folder. Here you can see I'm in the XWAMP folder, my package installer. That means XWAMP is my package installer. You can see within this folder, you can see Apache, htdoc, our root folder, and FileZilla, and also here PHPMyAdmin, and also here we can see uh, MySQL. MySQL folder. Inside of this MySQL folder, we have backup, bin, and data. Let's go to the data folder. Inside of this data folder, we can see my database structure again as a folders. Here, this my this factoring Billy factoring let's say factoring Billy database. Here I can see asset folder. Yeah, let's go to that. Inside of this folder, I can see my table structure. That means here you can see creditors, debitor limits, debitors, fail jobs, invoice. Likewise, those are my table structure. That means MySQL save our database structure like this. That means using this like this. That means it will create the folder. If we create the database, it will create the folder. Inside of this folder, it will create tables. Okay, it will create like this. This is the physical structure, and this is the our once we open it using the database tool. And also, MySQL can't understand any other language, only it can understand is a structured query language. That means SQL. SQL is the language it can understand. Then, if you need to tell something to MySQL, if as example, let's say I have a friend, he's know only Tamil. Then if I need to tell him something, then he can only understand Tamil. Then I have to tell him using Tamil. Otherwise, he can't understand. Likewise, this SQL only knows this MySQL only knows the SQL, structured query language. Then we need to tell him using that language. That means we have to write SQLs. SQLs means example I can show you. This is one of the SQL example. We saying MySQL to select all the data, all the columns from all the rows, columns and values from creditors table. Select all from creditors. We saying this commands to MySQL. Then MySQL can understand this and it will return the data. Let's run this. As you can see, it will return data. If we change this, like if we saying that we saying select one, okay, let's see what happened. It will return error. That means can't understand. That's why it's returning you have an error in your SQL syntax. We can't change the syntax. We have to that means we need to follow the syntax. Otherwise, we can't write queries. That means you need to learn how to write queries. It is not big deal actually. You can first you have to when you are working with these kind of things, you can automatically you can understand the queries. But I recommend you to follow some tutorial to learn these SQLs. Okay, anyway, this is the its work. That means MySQL only can understand the SQLs. We have to learn SQL to to tell something to MySQL. We need to tell it using the SQLs. Otherwise, it can't. But and another thing is we can't process SQLs within the our PHP server. That means Apache server. We can't process those SQLs or SQLs processed from within the MySQL side. It is the MySQL is a separate server, PHP within the separate server. That means we need to pass our if we normally we are giving MySQL commands. That means SQLs within the PHP side. Then PHP needs to submit those SQLs to MySQL side. Then MySQL do the process things. After processing inside of the MySQL, it will return the return result. It will return the result of those SQLs. If it is error, then it will return the error. If it is successful, then return the data or in whatever. That means if you run the insert query, it will return resource. That means success information. Otherwise, if it is select statement, it will return the selected data. Likewise. Within the MySQL side only it will process the SQLs. We are not process it can't process within the PHP side. Those are some basics. And okay, now I think you have a better idea about what is the database and how we use those things. I will do example in here. I will show you how to create a database within using this PHPMyAdmin. Uh, you can create here you can create a new database using like this new, let's say database like db example 01. This is my database. Now my database is created. Let's create table tbl user. By default it will comes with the 4 columns. I will continue with this. You can change if you want. Here with this table, always I think always means there need to be a unique key, unique identifier. Let's say ID, it's integer, and I will put it as a let's say I will put it as a primary key. It is a primary key. That means it won't be a duplicate, and I will let this as a auto increment. Auto increment means we don't need send this ID when we doing the insert query. We don't need send this ID. It will automatically increment the ID. It will not duplicate the ID. Okay, and I will add name. We can select data type as Vacha. It is normally 250, and address is text, and let's say update date. Let's say sorry, update date, and let's say we can say it as a timestamp. We can put default timestamp, current timestamp. Okay, now we can save using this save button. Uh, Now we already know how to create the database, and now we created database. Within my previous example, I explained you that here we just created some document like a, log, like when we it's come to before we use computers, we create same kind of things using papers. Now we create this using the databases. Okay. Okay, before moving forward, I forget to tell you, we can use command line tool as well. I will show you with this our control panel. We can use here. You can see the shell. Click on the shell, and we can use this shell to give the commands. Here, as you can see. Within here, we can, if you know SQL very well, we can use this shell without using any tools. That means like PHPMyAdmin or any kind of tool. We can use command line interface. Here, let's say we can log into our MySQL server like this. MySQL user root. My password is empty. Now we are in MySQL server. Let's list down the databases we have. Show databases. Sorry, here you can see our databases. It will list down our databases, and we can select one database. We can select data. Likewise, if you know SQL, we can do those things. Let's say use example. Let's use 3 and show tables. List down the tables. Here we have only let's say show select all from post. Select all from post. Here you can see the database table data. Likewise, if you know SQL, you can create database, you can delete database, you can create tables, you can insert data, you can delete data. Likewise, anything you are doing with the let's say CRUD operation, like using a web application, you can do it from here using SQL commands. You can do the database. I forgot to tell you this, and let's jump into the next step 2 of this tutorial. Okay, now you know what is database. You already understood that part, and let's answer the second question. Our second question is why we need database within the application system. Why we need database within the application systems means, as you can see, there is two types of data within the application. First one is we can say as runtime data, and other one is database data. Runtime data means we can create variable within the current runtime, and we can assign value to that variable. We can use those variables within the later within the current runtime. That means, as example, we can create variable username, and we can assign value to that username variable. We can use later within the current runtime. We can access that username variable. We can get the username variable value within the same runtime. But the problem is after the runtime, it will that those information not available not available, that means it will erase from the memory, because if the end of the runtime it will erase from the memory, it will not keep those information. Then the problem is, if we collect user information using the user registration form, then we need to store those information, because we need those information after the current runtime. Then we use database to store those information, and time to time we can load those information using SQL, using PHP MySQL connection string. We can load those information to current runtime. That's how application works. That's why we need a database. We need database because we need to store the information. We can't store information using the variable. Yeah, now I think you know what is database and why we need database. Those questions we already answered. Actually this video is first video of the PHP and MySQL video series. My second video, I'm explaining you how to connect PHP with MySQL, what are the options available, that means drivers, and how to connect PHP with MySQL, and how to get data from the MySQL side, and how to insert data to MySQL, how to update MySQL database. Those things are discussed in the second video. Let's jump into the second video. And also, if you think this video is useful, please click the like button. If you want to see future videos like this, please click the subscription button. Thank you very much.